Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're heading down to Miami, going to be talking all things Coral Gables real estate.
All right, sounds good. Let's dive in.
Now we're talking luxury, we're talking exclusivity, we're even talking about those teardowns that are making headlines.
Yeah, those are always interesting.
Now, you wouldn't be here if you weren't already a little bit intrigued by this market, right?
Right.
So we're going to go beyond the headlines and give you like a backstage pass to what's really driving these prices.
Absolutely. We've got these reports here. They cover the first 3 quarters of 2024 in Coral Gables. And let me tell you, this market, it's playing by a different set of rules.
Okay, so the reports are in, and it sounds like this market is on fire. But it's not just about the sunshine, right?
No, definitely not. While Miami, it has that lifestyle, that appeal, Coral Gables, it's got something else going on. It's a primary single-family home market.
What does that mean?
So it's not just like a vacation spot for the wealthy.
Right.
Families are really putting down roots here.
Okay.
They're drawn to the history, those top-rated schools, that sense of community. It's tough to find that anywhere else.
So you're not just buying a property, you're buying a whole lifestyle.
Exactly, yeah.
But even with inventory up 30% this year, prices are still going through the roof. So how does that work?
Okay, so about that 30% increase.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot, right?
Right.
But, it still only brought us to like 5, maybe 6 months of inventory.
Mm-hmm.
And in a market as hot as Coral Gables, I mean, that's practically nothing. This is not what you call a buyer's market, not at all.
So we've got this kind of perfect storm brewing here. High demand from these families who want to live in Coral Gables year-round, and a very limited supply of these properties, especially those newly renovated, like, luxury places.
Yeah, everybody wants a piece of that.
Everyone wants that, exactly. But, okay, when I saw that the median price had jumped 10% in the report, I almost spit out my coffee. 10%.
Yeah, it's a big jump. And it really just highlights how, even with more homes on the market, competition is fierce. But if you think that's wild, we got to talk about the ultra-luxury market. Yep. That's a whole other ballgame.
We're talking the $10 million plus club here.
You got it.
Now, the report mentions sales in that category. They're up almost 300%. So who are these people? Who's dropping that kind of cash for a house, even in Coral Gables?
Well, Miami in general is seeing this huge influx of people with a lot of money. Families, individuals. A lot of them are coming from the tech world, finance, entertainment.
Okay.
They're drawn to the fact that Miami's very business-friendly, no state income tax helps, and, of course, that Miami lifestyle. But here's the thing. They're choosing Coral Gables specifically because it's got that luxury but also that community feel. You don't get that everywhere.
It's like they want the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Dock your yacht and then stroll down a charming little street for a coffee.
Yep. And that actually brings us to one of the biggest sales this year. Have you heard about this one? The $23.5 million teardown at 365 Arvida.
Wait, a teardown. Hold on. Someone paid over $23 million to level a house.
Yep.
In Coral Gables.
And get this. That sale, it set a new record. Price per square foot.
Yeah.
$2,473.
Okay, now I know real estate in Miami is on another level, but this is like next level.
Right.
Is that even allowed?
It is. And it just shows how badly people want these properties, especially in these amazing locations like Gables Estates. This is a perfect example of like those buyers who were circling but not acting.
Okay, what does circling but not acting even mean?
So you've got some buyers, especially at this price point. They're picky. They know what they want. They can wait.
Right.
And the second that perfect property, even if it's a teardown in a great location, the second it becomes available, they jump.
So even in a, quieter summer market, a sale like this proves that Coral Gables is still a seller's market.
100%. And if you're looking for new construction, forget about it. Competition is even crazier.
Finding a brand new mansion in Coral Gables, I'm picturing like trying to find a parking spot right in front of your favorite restaurant on Miracle Mile at dinner time. Possible? Sure, but good luck.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. As of September, you know how many new homes were available in all of Coral Gables? 6.
6.
6, that's it. Which, when you think about how much demand there is, it makes sense why these places are going for top dollar.
Well, the report mentioned that new construction starts at about $1,250 per square foot.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a lot.
That's a big number.
It is. But that's kind of the reality in this market. Land is limited. You've got all these zoning rules, construction costs, and that's not even talking about that record we saw.
Yeah.
10,840 Old Cutler.
Yeah.
$17 million. $1,900 a square foot.
Okay, wow. So what are we talking here? Gold faucets and diamond doorknobs. What could possibly justify that price tag?
It's a lot more than just square footage. We're talking top of the line everything, sustainable materials, you name it. They're creating an experience, not just a house. So it's not that surprising they're going so fast.
Okay, so it's luxury, it's location, it's totally custom. But what if you don't have that new construction budget? Is there any way to get into Coral Gables at all?
Totally. So you might not be able to swing a new place in Coral Gables proper, but you can look around. The report mentioned Coconut Grove, High Pines, South Miami. Good places to start.
Okay, yeah, I've heard good things.
You've got that same kind of charm, you know? But you might actually be able to find a place.
Right, you're not totally priced out.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot here, but let's talk about what all this means for buyers, sellers, investors, everybody who's trying to get a piece of this Coral Gables dream. The reports, they seem to have some pretty direct advice for everybody, right?
They do. Buyers, especially if you're in that $3 to $5 million range, be ready to move. Seriously.
No hesitation.
We already talked about inventory, right? If you snooze, you lose. Somebody else is going to snatch it up.
Gotta be decisive. What about the sellers? Is now a good time to list, or should they maybe wait it out a little bit?
If you're a seller in Coral Gables, especially in that same $3 to $5 million range,
Yeah.
you're in the driver's seat, demand's high, inventory's playing catch up, you're probably going to get top dollar.
It's a good time to be a seller.
It really is.
But what about investors? You know, the report mentioned that rentals were stabilizing. What does that mean?
So last year, 2023, finding a rental in Miami, forget about it. Bidding wars, crazy high rents. But things have calmed down a bit since then.
So not as much of a frenzy.
Right. But that doesn't mean Coral Gables is a bad investment if you're playing the long game. The area is always going to be desirable. Prices are generally going up. I mean, it's still a very solid bet.
Okay, so even if the rental market's not quite as wild as it was, the long-term prospects are still looking good. So we've established that Coral Gables is competitive no matter what you're trying to do here. But what's next? What does the future hold? So we've talked about crazy expensive teardowns, trying to find a new place in a sea of old mansions. I mean, it's wild. But everybody wants to know, what's next for Coral Gables? Is this going to last?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Literally. But these reports we've been going through, they actually might have some answers, basically. Most people are saying don't expect prices to drop anytime soon.
So no crash, like everybody's suddenly moving to the suburbs.
Doesn't look like it.
Wow.
You've got high demand, not a lot of supply, and tons of people with money who want to be here. That makes for a pretty strong market. Coral Gables isn't totally different. It's still real estate, but it's definitely got an edge over other places.
That's got to be reassuring for anybody who's already in or thinking about, taking the plunge. But just out of curiosity, if things keep going the way they are, even higher prices, is that possible?
It's hard to say for sure. But the report, it did say that some of those really special places, the ones with the history, the waterfront locations, those are probably going to keep going up in value.
Right, because those buyers we were talking about, the ones who are waiting for the perfect place.
Exactly.
They'll pay anything.
Pretty much. It's almost like the less there is, the more valuable it becomes, even when we're talking about houses this expensive.
It's wild. Coral Gables really is in a league of its own.
It is. And honestly, that's important to remember if you're thinking about buying here. It's not just about the house. It's a whole thing. The lifestyle, the history.
Yeah.
You don't get that just anywhere.
Very well said. Well, everybody, there you have it. Another deep dive done. We've gone through it all, the good, the bad, and hopefully you had some fun with us along the way. Now you know what's up in Coral Gables. Whether you're ready to buy your dream home or, just admire from afar, we hope this gave you a little peek behind the curtain of this crazy market. Until next time, happy house hunting.